A very good evening. This is the Pngtv Live News Bulletin. I'm Belinda Cora. Today saw Madang MP Bryan Kramer's attempt to get an extension of time on his urgent application to stop the deactivation of unregistered SIM cards has been unsuccessful in the National Court. This in turn has seen the interim injunction stopping the deactivation lifted, with the National Information and Telecommunication Authority, or NICTA, now free to deactivate almost 1.4 million SIM cards nationwide. Kaligan Tanda with this story.
Kramer, appearing before Justice Oagil Dinkake, sought a 7-day extension of time to file and serve appropriate responses and affidavits in line with his urgent application. Justice Dinkake cited that by consent of both Kramer and NICTA before the court, the deactivation exercise had been halted on the 30th of April, with the allowed time being for Kramer to file and serve documents, with the matter returning today. The judge stated that Kramer listed briefly reasons that did not allow him to fulfill the court's directions in his urgent applications, such as attending contempt of court proceedings by Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, flying to Madang to engage constituents to consent to him pursuing the SIM deactivation case, attending to the house cry of former Madang PPC Jim Namora, and attending cases at the Madang District Court involving the Madang DDA. Kramer had listed these successive reasons that prevented him from filing and serving the appropriate documents to the respondents. Justice Dinkake, in his ruling, considered the application of high national importance. However, Kramer had not adequately described why he failed to comply with the orders of April 30th. The judge ruled that the matter was filed in urgency by Kramer and thus he had sufficient time. Therefore, the court refused Kramer's application for an extension of time. Kramer subsequently sought to withdraw the proceedings, which was agreed to by Tiffany Twyve of Twyve Lawyers representing NICTA. The matter was withdrawn by consent of both parties, with the stay order being lifted. Kramer will now be filing an application for a judicial review of the SIM card deactivation drive and to seek another injunction in the next 24 hours. With unregistered SIM cards now able to be deactivated, Twyve stated that she was unsure whether deactivation would commence immediately, and only Communication Minister Sam Bassel would know. Attempts to contact the minister this afternoon have been unsuccessful. However, a member of his staff has revealed that the minister will consult with NICTA and other relevant agencies before he issues a response. Kaligan Tanda, Pngtv Live.
The Asian Pacific Economic Cooperation, or APEC, promotes inclusive growth with an added focus on gender inclusivity in all areas of economic growth and development. There is a need to promote workplace health and safety for women, which contributes to the overall gender inclusivity agenda in APEC. This is being discussed during the Gender Smart Workplaces workshop at the APEC second senior officials meeting currently underway in Port Moresby. Quintin and I'm with this update.
APEC economists and experts have been invited to share best practices and experiences in developing and implementing gender-smart policies and practices and promoting gender-inclusive culture in the workplace. During the opening remarks, PNG senior official to APEC, Lahui Ako, highlights PNG recognizes the need for dynamic approach to inclusivity agenda, hence the 2018 APEC theme, Harnessing Inclusive Opportunities, Embracing the Digital Future. Under the theme, PNG's Policy Priority 2 highlights sustainable and inclusive growth. Mr. Ako highlights Priority 2 enforces PNG's commitment to add value to the ongoing discussions on harnessing the full potential of women's contribution to APEC through economic empowerment and greater inclusion.
As we work towards our shared goal of free and open trade in the region, we continue to champion the message that in order to achieve this goal, we must ensure that no one is left behind. The Gender Smart Workplaces workshop is one of such initiatives that adds value to the discussions and allows us as a region to highlight the issues that affect women's health and safety at the workplace.
Mr. Ako adds APEC drives a lot of its initiatives through collaboration and thanks the private sector and international organizations for their cooperation. He says PNG welcomes the idea that technology provides the opportunities that have the potential to change the way women participate in economic growth.
I implore you all to have a frank and open conversation that bears fruits to concrete actions that our respective economies can undertake to continue to break barriers and provide the necessary environments and platforms for women to unleash their full potential in a bid to achieve shared goals.
The workshop will create awareness for government officials, private sector, and non-governmental organizations on the economic impacts that gender-smart policies and practices can have. It will also provide an opportunity for policymakers and businesses to inform themselves of important considerations and good practices which may be adopted at the domestic level and in specific organizations. Quintana Naime, Pngtv Live.
The need to address the escalating crime rate in the city is a concern, and authorities are looking at ways to address this issue, with plans on foot for electorates to have task forces. Minister for Lands and member for Moresby South, Justin Kachinko, says the business community in his electorate have shown interest to work together with police to address the crime rate in Moresby South electorate. Florida Gulaseni with this update.
A multitude of societal factors play a part in community crime rates. While understanding underlying issues like poverty, inequality, drugs, and gun control is incredibly important in order to significantly reduce crime, there are several small steps that the law enforcement agencies and citizens alike can help prevent and reduce crime in their own communities right now.
But we'll be working very, very close with the business community who also want to contribute financially and in kind to help assist the PNG Constabulary to ensure that we have police on the road, that they have proper vehicles, that they have proper law and order being checked on a daily and hourly basis.
Tachenko says when it comes to enhancing and making Moresby South safe and sound, everyone must work together to be part of the program to keep Port Moresby safe and sound.
We will be calling upon all city residents, from the settlements to the villages to the urban areas and to the CBD, to all work with us in many different ways. The settlements, of course, will be treated differently when it comes to policing in their areas to the CBD.
He added that with the APEC meet approaching, there will be a lot of changes taking place and everyone will have a responsibility.
APEC is mostly, especially for the Leaders Summit and the CEO Summit, is being held in Moresby South. And with that, we have to make sure that our people are aware with what's going on, proper awareness is done. We have to make sure our police understand their roles and responsibilities while we have all these world leaders in our electorate.
Florida Gulaseni, Pngtv Live.
Since going online in 2013, the Investment Promotion Authority today announced another milestone with its online registry system. It is hoped that with the all-new internet-based cloud storage, clients can be able to access quality and efficient services. According to IPA's Acting Managing Director Clarence Hood, the authority's ORS, or online registry, has attracted an improved rating for PNG in 2017's Ease of Doing Business survey, and is determined to ensure that the best available registry services are provided to the public in general. Mr. Hood did admit that trying to improve services does come at a high cost.
Along the way, we endeavored a couple of issues, mainly the challenges of having the online registry available 24/7 as we promised. And as you and I will appreciate, given our ongoing power outages and issues with the electricity.
On record, IPA has registered 200,000 businesses so far, and this expansion increases the need for cloud hosting from its in-house servers.
I know that this year is, and you all know also that this year is APEC year, digitization is one of the key agendas of APEC, and I hope that by IPA taking this step, other agencies can then follow suit.
This initiative would not be made possible without the assistance of the Asian Development Bank and the Australian government.
It's a very prescient move. The move to cloud computing isn't obvious in a country that has struggled a little with internet interconnectivity, but as you know, the Australian government is working very closely with the government of Papua New Guinea to bring internet connectivity to Papua New Guinea in a really strong way. We're working closely through the APEC hosting year to make sure that we have improved services as we approach leaders meeting, and we will be working with the government to put the submarine cable in, and that will come next year. When that happens, suddenly cloud computing and greater internet services are going to be very, very much the things that are possible and that will help bring new services to the community.
Cloud hosting means that information will now be safely stored on remote online services, leading to an improved reliability of the overall system. Mr. Hood remains thankful to partners who have come to assist IPA in improving its ORS and its overall IT system. You're watching Pngtv Live News Bulletin. More after these messages. Welcome back. You're watching Pngtv Live News Bulletin. Madang MP Bryan Kramer has condemned the recent killing of the son of Madang Governor Peter Yama. Kramer came out today offering his sympathy and condolences to Yama's family. However, he was quick to point out that the killing was not political in nature, stating that Biliamo settlement where the murder took place was known as a high crime area. Kramer stated that due to the victim being the governor's son, the case was a high-profile one. He says Madang police were working around the clock on this case and hopefully arrests would be made soon. Lands Minister Justin Kachinko clarified to the media over the weekend under the authority of the Attorney General on what he described as misleading comments by Acting Official Secretary to the Governor General in regards to the lands appeal process. He says such comments has put the Governor General's office in disregard. Florida Gulaseni with this update.
The acting official secretary of the Governor General's office, Bill Toraso, stated in the published Post-Courier on Friday, the 11th of May, that, and I quote, "Head of State is not bound to accept and comply with recommendations from the Lands Minister," unquote. Minister for Lands says the statement is not true, clarifying that Lands Minister gives the final advice or approval, while the Governor General is then given an advice for him to only endorse. He added this falls under Section 62 of the Lands Act 1996, under subsection 4 says, "The head of state acting on advice shall determine appeal under this section and his decision is final," while subsection 5 reads, "Where an appeal under this section is upheld, the head of state acting on advice may refer the matter back to the Lands Board for rehearing."
So going through all these approvals and processes, we come to the final one, which is then where the Governor General is then given a advice for him to endorse TASOL,
He added that it has been the normal process since day one and the government and the minister are not changing anything and following the correct process. And a letter from the Attorney General clarifies that the information seen there is a difference of opinion from the Secretary of Justice and the State Solicitor.
But after consultation with all parties concerned, the facts are very crystal clear, is that the acting official secretary has misled the Governor General for whatever reason, and the Constitution is very clear in what it says about the Governor General's role.
Minister says the normal process will be followed, ensuring all Papua New Guineans get a fair representation from the Lands Board and through the appeal process.
As per the recent Attorney General's advice and letter, We will act upon his recommendations, which comes from an agreement from the Secretary of Justice as well as the State Solicitor. We can't get any higher than this. They are the legal lawmakers of this country that certify and rectify these issues.
He says he will continue his job as the Minister for Lands, making sure the processes that the Lands Department can have are enforced and are acted properly by law. Florida Gulaseni, PNG-TV Live.
The Orchid Society of Papua New Guinea officially announced the 17th Annual National Orchid Spectacular that will be staged at the National Parliament House. The event is scheduled for the 19th to the 20th of this month this year. In preparation, the Dendrobium APEC PNG Orchid 2018 was also revealed at the launch and will be the highlight for the event. Florida Gulaseni with this report.
The event last night was witnessed by members of the Orchid Society of Papua New Guinea, members of the APEC Authority, members of the media and invited guests. Minister for APEC and President of the Orchid Society, Justin Tachenko, says, with the important economic development underway throughout the country, seeing many promotions of Papua New Guinea in the next 6 months, the formal launch is of great significance to showcase to the world what the Orchid Society has done in placing Papua New Guinea on the global map.
At the same time, we want to promote all these little events and functions and promotions to show off our culture, to show off our traditions, to show off our natural wonders and flora and fauna to the rest of the world so they can take it out and promote it to their countries and their economies as well.
The Dendrobium orchid, which will be specifically showcased at the event, an officially recognized orchid hybrid whose parentage consists of orchid species found only in Papua New Guinea, has been officially registered through the Royal Horticulture Society in the United Kingdom.
Your official orchid to show off to the rest of the world how exotic and tropical and unique we are. And as the president of the Orchid Society of Papua New Guinea as well, I thought we should also add that bit of flavour, a bit of a teaser as well. So with this beautiful orchid that has been officially named after the APEC meeting this year, we're also hosting the big event.
Vice President of the Orchid Society of Papua New Guinea, Godfried Sito, says the event will also be a chance for Papua New Guinea to show the international guests how beautiful our country is in many ways.
Dendrobium APEC, it's a good representation of Papua New Guinea because it's from the CPEC, it's from Central, it's from Moresby, and I'm sure there's a little bit of New Guinea Islands in there somewhere. So, on that, I thank you.
Florida Gulaseni, PNG-TV Live.
You're watching PNG-TV Live News Bulletin. More after these messages. Welcome back. You're watching PNG-TV Live News Bulletin. APEC economies, including Papua New Guinea, need to promote more inclusive growth by enabling rural communities and lower-income communities to take advantage of technology in terms of income generation and economic development. Researcher from De La Salle University in the Philippines, Justin Eloriaga, highlights this at the APEC Study Center's Consortium Conference today in Port Moresby. The conference enabled economies to gain intellectual backing and recommendations on what important positions government should take on particular topics in discussions under APEC. Eloriaga gave a presentation on digital inequality and how it relates to income inequality, making reference to the Philippines.
We live in a world, in a digital economy wherein things are changing very rapidly. There's a lot of technology present that may displace current labor conditions in the market. So I think that PNG can also learn a lot from that. Maybe policymakers can learn that we need to prioritize how technology is, trickled down into the lower sectors of the economy and how it can benefit them to become more competitive in the region and subsequently make PNG a more competitive economy.
The Port Moresby Corporate Volleyball Competition entered their last round this weekend and are prepared for the finals in the coming weekend. President of the competition, Alfred Vaitai, says all pools have successfully participated in all 12 rounds, with the top teams looking forward to take home the cup. Florida Gulaseni with this update.
A competition that brought together corporate houses not only for the leisure of the game, but to also promote healthy lifestyles has been a successful competition from its first to last round. Vaitai says all pool games are set and looking forward for the major grand final.
For Pool A, we've got Dulax Ben who are standing by for cup. NCDC has already beaten Pngtv to come up, so they're playing Pngtv and NCDC in Pool A Grand Final Cup. We've got the plate already set up. Also the Pool A bowl has already been completed. Waiting for the major Grand Final.
He added the interest has grown and the participation from individual players has seen a lot of improvements.
It's been good. We've got the veterans teams that have played and we've seen a lot of physical changes happening. Some of the men who were pot bellies now have slimmed down a bit. And they can actually run across the court and to save balls and all that. And we've got ladies coming up who were too stagnant to move around. Now they can move around the court, so which is good.
The teams have also been invited to participate in the national volleyball competition, so most players will be seen participating in the national competition.
After the finals, we'll be having our presentation. And then from the presentation, our training for the national championships will be starting. However, we're just waiting. There are some arrangements for the tournament, so for corporate. We're looking at bringing in the new teams because there are several companies wanting to join for next season. So with the tournament happening, it will prepare them for next year.
Vaitai further called on families and friends to come along and support in the grand finals at the Taurama Aquatic Center. Florida Gulaseni, PNG TV Live.
And round 6 of the Digicel Cup competition at the Oil Search Football Stadium over the weekend saw the Gulf Esos walk out disappointed as they lost their game against the Moresby Vipers. Sitting 10th on the ladder, the Esos went up the Vipers, who came back hard after their loss in round 5 last weekend. Florida Gulaseni with this update.
With coaches positive of their lineup in the round 6 of the competition, first half was set to go with the Vipers kicking off. An expected tough game was on the lookout by spectators as the Vipers and Esos longed for their first try. Through 18 minutes into the first half saw Vipers Sparrow Thomas score the first try with a successful conversion from Benton Leme, placing the Vipers in the lead with 6 points. Hungry for more, the Vipers gave no chance, scoring their second try through Nico Dom, who fended off through all his opponents to score, followed by a successful conversion again by Leme, seeing the Vipers lead with 12 points to nil. Disappointed Esos with an aim to score entered second half with more hard defense, giving their very own Robert Masse an opportunity to score just 6 minutes into the match. Hoping for a better conversion from Piri Loko Loko, who missed, leaving the Esos with 4 points. As the battle continued, Esos' Josiah Koive went in for a try in the right flank of the field with an unsuccessful conversion from Tope Mitaharo, leaving the Esos trail behind with 8 points. Not far from that last score, Vipers came back hard, seeing Shane Harrow score for the Vipers with a successful conversion from Leme, moving the Vipers up to lead with 18 points to 8. Not far from his last try, Vipers Shane Harrow scored his second try with an unsuccessful conversion from Leme, placing the Vipers in the lead with 22 points. Vipers picked up another loose ball from the ISO scene, and none other than Haro score with a successful conversion from Leme, placing the Vipers in a very commanding lead with 28 points. Still wanting to score, Leme unexpectedly scores for the Vipers with an unsuccessful conversion, placing the Vipers in the lead with 32 points to 8. Then adding to full-time, Brendan Gotuno scores just seconds to full-time with a successful conversion from Leme, seeing the Vipers win with a 38 points to 8. Florida Gulaseni, Pngtv Live.
And that's where we end the bulletin this evening. More at 7 o'clock tomorrow. From myself and the news team, it's good night.